This episode is presented to you by NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV. With NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube and YouTube TV, you can watch your favorite teams' out-of-market Sunday games, plus watch up to 4 games at once with Multiview. Don't miss the race to the playoffs. NFL Sunday Ticket is now just $39 when bundled with YouTube TV, where you get even more football. Visit youtube.com/Spotify offer to sign up now. Lowest price on YouTube TV with base plan. Rest of 2023 season. Terms and embargoes apply. No cancellations.
Apple Gift Card is a practical gift that unlocks a world of entertainment and fun. You can send it via email or give a physical card to your loved ones. Your friends and family can spend it on their favorite Apple services, including Apple subscriptions. Apple Gift Card can be used to buy all things Apple. Products, accessories, apps, games, movies, TV shows, iCloud Plus, and more. Visit apple.com for details and to send Apple Gift Cards to your friends and family this holiday season.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day. And that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another episode of the Shades of Blue Soccer Show. My name is Cody Bradley. Thad Bell, Robert Russert, and David Greenwald are all here. It is the morning after a 0-0 draw with the Galaxy. 30 shots, the second most in club history without scoring. They put up 37 against Vancouver in 2020. Third straight shutout for the second time ever, last time in 99. Things are not going well, Thad Bell.
You're right. Did you want more?
Yeah, I knew Thad would give me a 2-word answer there to start the pod off, as he always does with all the energy. Robert, you're the one with all the notes. You rewatched the game this morning. Get us started.
Yeah, I mean, we had 30 shots. 11 on goal. We had 11 on goal against Colorado in 16 shots, so that's not a good stat.
And
either.
Even those were not very good.
But, sporting math is a new thing, seemingly. 12 shots first game, 16, then 30. That's a total of 58 shots. Apparently that equals no goals. That's sporting math now.
Why are they not going in, David?
Oh, for any number of reasons. Like Roger had that header off of a set piece that went straight into the arms of the keeper. That's a shot on goal, but it's not a good shot on goal.
I thought you were going to say the one that went 50 feet in the air.
Oh, Kyrie's header?
Hey, still stayed on the field.
No,
though.
Roger had one of those that he swung at it. It looked like it was going a mile over the crossbar into the stands, and it was so poorly hit that it just floated into the air and then calmly right down into the keeper's hands.
Mm-hmm. So, Remi had that absolute banger that from 25 30 yards out or whatever. Those aren't reliable shots. Those aren't ones that you can usually count on going in. Our best looks through the first 3 games have all been not on target. Like Willy had that open header, was it against Colorado that he put wide?
Yes, at the buzzer.
That was a tough
and
one.
then I think there have been a couple other ones where we've had good looks but they go wide, so those aren't shots on goal, but those are our better expected goal chances.
Well, going right along with that, I looked up this stat as well. Sporting has 5% of their chances within the 6-yard box, 40% of their chances in the 18, and 55% outside of the box. And as far as those stats go, they are near the worst in the league for in the 6 and the 18, and the most outside the box.
Robert did his homework with the stats.
Damn.
I love it. More analysis than we're used to. So then what does that mean? Tell us what that means.
It just goes right along with what David was saying. The chances we're getting are not the best chances. They're not high XG chances.
And that is because there's no Johnny Russell, right? I think we're realizing that Johnny coming in from the wing is creating more chances than we realized before.
I disagree. I mean,
I agree with you.
We would
disagree.
We would be better with Johnny. That I think is not up for debate. But I think that there's a difference between the first 2 games and what we saw last night. Last night was a lack of us being clinical and finishing, but we dominated. I mean, absolutely dominated. The first 2 games, we created nothing. There was the Portland game where our best chance was Eric Tommy just hitting something off the crossbar, but it was just a moment of magic. And otherwise, we had nothing. Against Colorado, we had nothing. And that was that our midfield wasn't generating chances. And so there's a big difference to me between those last 2 games and then what we saw last night.
But then I thought we just got done saying that the chances they were creating weren't very good anyway. So we're still creating nothing.
Well, you were at the game. Did you feel like we were going to score last night?
Not really, no.
I
didn't. I had the same feeling that I talked about last week, where it just seems like everyone on the field is like, where's Eric Tommy? Get the ball to Tommy. He's the only one that has any sort of creativity that can do anything. That's what it feels like.
Robert, did you think we were going to score last night?
Well, the way things have been going, I'm a bit of a downer on that. We did get a few good little chances in the box. Willie had 1 or 2 little chances he should have done better with. I think Tommy had 1 he should have done better with. He just hit it wrong. But I'm just kind of down on that. So, no, I did not really feel we were going to score.
We have a guest here today who will not be speaking, but you can just nod yes or shake your head no. Did you think we were going to score last night?
Stats and info thought we were going to score.
And info.
I'm with the guest.
One person thinks we were going to score. Okay.
No, I thought we did. I thought we were too.
Oh, okay.
I kept waiting for the lid to come off, but we had repeated good looks. Tommy sprayed a ball wide. That's not a shot on goal, but it was a 3-on-2 fast break where Willie fed Tommy and he just put it wide. That's a good chance. That's a strong look. It just wasn't in the 6-yard box.
Yeah, the sharpness on that one, his first touch was straight instead of inside. If it had been inside, he would have had better angle on goal, more goal to shoot at. So just not sharp right away in these first 3 games, I think.
Just looking at the expected goals last night, though, I have 30 shots, 11 on goal. It was only 1.36 expected goals out of all those opportunities, so they're not being as quality. 11 of them were blocked by LA.
Yeah, so, that's what I was remembering all game. We were just shooting directly into defenders is what it felt like.
And that's partially LA being good at blocking, too. I mean, they did a good job of that. That's not just bad shooting. It can be a little bit of both. But LA did a very good job defensively in that aspect. I was amazed last night when couldn't look at any of the stats until after the game when I'm shooting. But I looked and I saw the possession. I expected Sporting to actually have the possession. And I was really surprised when LA had more possession. And it just looked like Sporting was a much more dominant team all through the midfield. The LA coach at the end said at his press conference, like, we should have been better in the midfield. We have a great midfield, but we were just dominated.
So why? What made that happen this match? We were worried about the midfield last week. Roger Espinoza was out there, 90-year-old Roger Espinoza still running around, and they dominated this so-called amazing midfield with Puig from the LA Galaxy.
Well, I don't know if it's David who put the note in our pre-game plan here, but we played more of a 4-5-1 when they were in possession, so we kind of crowded that midfield to block off the Brugmans, the Puig, things like that. So I think that was part of the reason. And I think just overall, Sporting is really, and Peter said this in his press conference, dedicated to shutting down the midfield this year. They seem more intentional doing that.
So I thought Remi did a great job of shutting down Ricky Puig, which is, Remi was everywhere last night. He was intercepting balls. He was, he didn't put a foot wrong. Every tackle was on, and it forced, LA's best player into positions that weren't central. He was out wide a lot.
Unimpressed by Puig.
Yeah, he was terrible.
Yelling at the ref the whole time.
Yeah.
Looks like a 12-year-old out there.
He's very tiny. Yeah, some would describe him as petite.
But how about him tucking in his jersey? Nobody else in the whole field tucked in his jersey, but he did.
Diego Chara. That's some Diego Chara stuff.
Yeah.
But no, Remi played a great game, which was a huge part of shutting that down. But I think dropping 5 guys across the midfield block eliminated all that space for LA. They didn't have anywhere to go.
Now, not that you want to feel sorry for LA, but Chicharito makes a big difference for their side. He's a master at finding the right space in the box and finding space in open field for good passes, and I think that's part of the reason. Well, yes, and
diving
and Panikas that suck. But anyway, I think that's a big part of their
He's a top 5 pest in MLS.
Most
Is he just hurt? I honestly did not think of him until this very moment.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Okay.
He was hurt. I just don't know why or how long. I just don't care.
Leibold got out there.
Can before we go into Tim Leibold, I have one other thing because we were talking about our lack of goal scoring and our lack of threats, if you will. So
let's focus on that more because we get accused of being the echo chamber and that we're all too positive. So let's sit in the sadness for a while here.
We've had a problem for years of when we reach a certain threshold of crosses, we stop scoring. And Peter's talked about it before, like, we funnel a lot of play out wide because that's where teams allow us to have the space. So if they clog up the midfield, instead of trying to play through the mid, we play it out wide, and then we start lobbing crosses into the box. And we're notoriously not very good at that. So like last night we had 26 crosses.
A lot of crosses last night.
But one of the things I noticed is for as good as Eric Tommy is, Eric Tommy doesn't play centrally. Eric Tommy likes to float out left. And so when we were the most dangerous with, like, let's say Benny Feilhaber, Benny could play through the middle. And, you break the field down into zones, right? And zone 12 is the top of the box. It's the most dangerous spot to be because you can play left, you can play right, you can play through the middle. And so the teams that score the most goals, generally speaking, get a lot of possession in zone 12.
Can Gadi Kinda play in the middle then?
Gadi Kinda is a much more direct player than Eric Tommy in terms of turning and running at the center backs. Yeah. Tommy likes to float out wide. And so while Tommy, I think, is our best player, he's not trying to play through the middle. He's not trying to, if you watch him, he rarely cuts centrally. He likes to cut out left. Remi playing the 6, he's so deep that he's not playing centrally. And Roger's Roger. So I think Gadi coming back will make us more direct in terms of at least running the ball at center backs and creating more chaos in zone 12.
Or even before Gadi comes back, Remi playing the 8 when Nemanja plays the 6.
Yeah.
I butcher every name, so.
So somebody in the comments said that, Ricky Puig, you're not Lucas Zelarayan, and he's not. But my whole thing I was thinking when I saw that comment was exactly what you just said, that Eric Tommy is not a Lucas Zelarayan or a Ricky Puig for that matter, because he doesn't play in the middle. He doesn't dissect teams with his passing ability. He's always dribbling at people, things like that, which is great, and he creates some great opportunities, but he's not that true number 10 at all.
Bring back Benny.
He's not. He's still around.
Bring back Benny.
He could probably do a few minutes as a sub.
Yeah. Just for set pieces.
As long as he doesn't have to run.
So they celebrated Alan Pulido's birthday last night in Westport. One of my friends was there. I got to see videos of it. It looked pretty fun. But he is still a few weeks away from returning. Couple weeks, maybe. We're not clear on that. He's now training with the team,
according to what Peter said. Yeah.
Yeah, Peter said it probably a couple weeks before you see him like on the game day roster. But
so, what did we think of Willy Agada last night? It seemed like he was
better.
He made more. Yeah, maybe better. He made more of an effort to get involved in hold up play. He was coming back further and was getting involved in hold up play a little more. But if Alan Pulido was playing and we went 3 games without scoring, people would be calling for his head or asking where the backup is.
Or why we spend $27 million on him.
And I notice a lot of, that's obviously a difference there for sure. But I notice people are afraid to say anything about Agada.
He's too nice.
Well, he is too nice. He's got a good smile. We all love him. He saved the season last year. But what the hell? He's our striker. Nothing is happening.
Yeah, he certainly left the door open for Pulido to step right in and start again once he's healthy, possibly. But, we were talking about service before. And, coming this week, I'm going to have an article about some of the instances from this game. Willie was a little lackadaisical in 1 or 2 spots, but he's still not getting the service that he needs.
It did feel like all of that was better last night, though, than the first 2 games.
I agree.
Now, in some fairness, too, the first 2 games Sporting played was on the road, home openers for both those teams. Last night was at home opener for Kansas City. That makes a difference in how the game plays out, just the emotion, the crowd, etc.
Yeah.
Although the crowd was not the greatest last night, but
Yeah, for the number of people that were there, it didn't quite have the bite that it normally does. I don't know why that was.
Actually
Cold,
sounded
rainy.
better on TV.
Yeah, Agada got the ball a couple times in a spot where you want to get the ball to your striker, and that's his job to then make something happen from that point on, and it didn't.
it did not.
I noticed a couple of times. I think it's a confidence thing for him, perhaps.
Yeah,
now, because
that's
he
what I
did
said
not
last week.
Take
It
things on where he normally would.
It looks like he like almost has the yips. I thought that last week. There's a couple times where it's just, he has no confidence right now.
I know last year I looked back through his entire scoring history, and he had one period of his I mean, he's not that old, but he had one period in his history where he scored a bunch of goals in just a few games, much like he did when he got to Kansas City. Before that, he did not. After that, he did not. He had a very hot streak and then kind of died out for a year. We may have seen his one hot streak. I still go back to the article David wrote, though, that he was in the right positions and all those things he did last year should be repeatable this year. Hasn't happened yet, but I still kind of believe in him.
To me, it just goes back to there's a difference between last night and the first two games. And I don't think you can look at them all together and diagnose the same problem. Against Portland and against Colorado, he had no service. And so with the very limited chances he got, he didn't do well with them. But when you have no chances, it's not like you're going to be putting
limited service. He had some.
Yeah,
He flubbed some.
with your extremely limited service. Yeah, he did flub some. But again, when you're not getting the ball, when you're not getting good service, when people aren't putting the ball in your head, when they're not playing it to your feet in dangerous positions, then you're pressing. Because with the very few touches you get, you want to try and make something happen. Last night was different. Last night, he was a little wasteful, but he looked dangerous. He was dropping back and then turning and running. And I'm remembering back to, again, Eric Tommy's missed shot where Willy, I think Remi won the ball in the midfield and played it forward to Agada, who turned.
That's a safe bet, Remi
and,
winning a ball in midfield.
Right.
Or Kyrie.
No, stop. I'll leave. But Willy got the ball and turned and made a great pass to Tommy to set him up for a good shot. And so he was wasteful with his shots last night, but I thought overall Willy played pretty well.
Yes, pretty well. I'll give him that. Tim Leibold.
I like him.
Yes. Do we have a left back?
Is he hurt? Because then no, we don't.
Right, exactly.
Because all left backs
It's a
must
little
be hurt.
hamstring-ish on the way coming off, didn't he?
Thad,
Well, I think
Where is Seth Sinovic?
is that what it was, a hamstring, or it just looked like he was just tired because he's not 90 minutes fit yet? Is how I
I saw hands go to the hamstring a little bit.
And
Maybe a
somebody,
little tight.
I forget who in the locker room afterwards said, hopefully he's okay. So that
good
led me
Lord.
that led me to believe. But
Yeah.
I do think we have found out that left back LB stands for Leibold's better.
Well, okay, I like that.
So I like the fact that he's good in positioning defensively. He's a good tackler. I think his attacking portion is going to increase as he gets more comfortable and more familiar with how the team likes to play.
Yeah.
The more minutes he gets. But I definitely liked him.
If he's not hurt,
Right.
Even if he is hurt.
he's gonna miss the next 3 weeks, though. I almost guarantee you. That's just how things are going right now. David, what did you think of Leibold?
I thought it was really good. He and Salloi don't have a ton of chemistry yet, but you can see like hints of it there. His positioning was good. He looked dangerous with the ball. I thought he looked really good until he popped a hammy and fell down.
He did pass up a chance for a shot at one point during the game, which I wish he had taken. But
Yeah, he and Salloi don't quite have it yet. I'm not sure Salloi has it yet. I don't think he's mid-season form yet.
No, not even close.
What I will say, Leibold's calves are worse than Logan and Inbay's. If that makes you feel any better.
but what about his schnoz?
We're
Worse
big
than
on
Ben Sweats.
We're big on noses this year.
That's right. We're a nose podcast.
Yeah, I don't want to pick on Salloi, but that's who we needed to step up right now with all these players missing. Salloi is a star of this team, I thought, right? He touched the ball in like almost the 60th minute, and I was like, is that the first time that he's touched it this half? I forgot Salloi was on the field.
That sometimes happens, but I do wonder with Leibold out there not driving to the end line as much as some of the other left backs have done in the past. Daniel was kind of caught in between getting the ball and cutting in around the top of the box and trying to get a shot, or driving to the end line and trying to cross it into Willy. And I don't think that's his strongest suit, because he's usually had a Ben Swed or an Ndembe or somebody else to do that in the past. So I'd have to go back and double check my memory, but it looked like he tried to go to the end line and cross it, at least in the second half, 2, 3, 4 times. And they were all just off of finding the right person there, or got out of bounds a little bit or whatever.
Well, isn't that also because he does kind of unorthodox runs into the box? Like I think players are anticipating a pass at a certain moment or when he gets to a certain place, and he takes another touch and then gets it right on the line, and then he pushes it back to a spot where nobody is. I saw that happen a couple times. Now it's good. It's clever. He's getting in the box, but I think it would take a world-class player that we don't currently have to sniff some of those out. Or maybe that's what Polito will do.
I think they were just the passes were not on for him when he was doing that.
Yeah.
But again, part of it's also just creating chaos, right? If you can get to the end line and cut a ball back.
Johnny Russell.
Sure. I mean, Johnny doesn't typically get to the end line, though. He usually cuts in well ahead of that. But Daniel
Johnny charging into the box is chaos.
Yeah.
There's a picture of that next to the word chaos in the dictionary.
But, Daniel had, getting to the end line and cutting the ball back into the box puts pressure on the defense. And your hope is that Tommy or Agada is going to make a strong run, and then you can make something happen there. So getting into dangerous spots is Daniel's job. I mean, that's a big part of it. Now, I mean, he's a technique finesse player, so his goal scoring is hitting curlers and stuff, and that needs space, and he needs defenses to not be compact against him to be able to do that. But for what it's worth, your former employer rated him our highest rated player last night. They gave him an 8.
Foot mob is who he is referring to there.
Yeah, but it's not spelled with 2
O's. Of all of those, yes, but I worked there and I can tell you that I know that you can call it foot mob. It's not fod mob like everyone calls it, I promise. Of all of those block shots that we had, it felt like Salloi had about half of them. He does that a lot. He shoots right into people.
That's because he's trying to find little lanes to shoot where we've talked about this in the past years. Like Americans will have to have a 5 foot wide area to shoot, and he needs an inch to try to curl it around somebody.
He does. He has scored goals by sneaking it past people in situations.
Which means when you don't get it by somebody, you hit somebody. So that's what happens. But and the ones he did get by, hit the keeper. So
I'm going to throw this out here for David because he will enjoy this. But at that moment when Kyrie had a shot in the box, didn't take it, tried to block off and pass it back to Tommy, and then Tommy hit it, and I think hit Kyrie with his shot. Yeah, so but that was a great shining moment.
But how about in the first? It was like in the first 2 minutes of the game, Kyrie had a header off of a corner kick that was kind of close to on frame, and there was a split second where I just saw everyone's world collapsing that Kyrie scored the first goal of the home season.
I think people would be thrilled if he could actually score. It's never going to happen.
No, the reaction would be like, "Oh, great! Now he's going to play the whole season because he got one."
That's what would happen. Yes.
Well, here's my note on that. I'm just going to throw this out there. Kyrie says after he heads the ball, "Hey, I got my head on it. Isn't that enough?" There's just no conviction in his header. He just got his head on it.
Well, yeah, he's allergic to doing stuff in the box. It is entirely different. You can see it on his face that it's not there.
It's a timing issue. He always jumps too early. And so that header went flying over the bar because instead of meeting it at its apex and heading it down, he was on his way down and he popped it up because for being 6'4", he's really terrible at timing his jumps.
He probably didn't have to do that when he was younger.
That's
why short people are better jumpers.
Used to his body.
Yeah, I mean, he's 30 years old? He's had plenty of time to figure it out. Didn't you score a header at the
Thank you.
the media game?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Oh, Lord. Here it comes.
Cody Bradley of the Blue Testament with a head.
Yeah, yes, I did, in case you forgot.
And Cody, you are how tall?
I am, I claim 6'1".
Okay.
Hey, Cody, in the Ginger Dictionary, is that the sign next to glory, the definition of glory?
It's a GIF, a looping GIF of the header.
Just wanted to make sure.
It was offside.
I don't recall. Nemanja Radoja.
I do.
He got his first appearance.
Like the 62nd minute? Yeah.
And he came in at the 8, which I think a lot of people were expecting to see him at the 6.
Yes.
Well, Cody Bradley, if you were at training on Tuesday, which I know you were, they were doing a drill, just the back 4 plus the midfield, and that's exactly what Radoja was doing. He was playing the 8 in that drill. So I wasn't surprised myself. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially in game, if you know he's not going to start and you're bringing him in when Remi is working with the center backs and things are clicking and they haven't given up a goal in however many minutes, I think it makes sense to, if you want to get the guy on the field,
right,
get him in the midfield. You've said he can play there. So, yeah, I think that made sense to not
and that's what Peter
up.
said after the game was the reason. So
yeah, but I actually kind of thought that was odd because last year quite a few times Remi started as the 6, and then later in the game he moved up when Roger came out and Yuri came in at the 6, and then that's a lot of times when things fell apart a little
Peter's
bit.
realizing his faults, maybe.
Uri, how about Uri last
Maybe I
night?
shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that Sporting would score after he came in, but
I was bummed he didn't roll his sleeves and his shorts up like he did last year.
Well, that was funny because I mentioned, hey, that's Uri. And 2 people next to me are like, wait, what? What? His sleeves aren't rolled up. Oh, that is Uri.
there was a little minor chant in the south stand for something about his shorts being rolled up or something.
I did not know the Galaxy had Uri or Tyler Boyd. I learned both of those last night.
It's because you didn't read my match preview.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
Or the Blue Testament.
I do read the Blue Testament.
Evidently not.
Which incidentally is the site
Your
we all
match
write for.
preview. Your match preview was up too late. If it was earlier in the week, then maybe there you go. That's my stance.
I thought Radoja looked good playing the 8. I thought he actually looked dangerous moving forward. He looked like he has some real quality. What I'd be interested to see moving forward is if Vermes can introduce a tactical wrinkle where, depending on where the ball is being played, to see Remi and Radoja alternate back and forth in the middle of a match. Basically, like
but not Tommy.
No.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit Eric Tommy, but you see like periodically Salloi and Russell will swap wings. Mm-hmm. But to have 2 guys who can play both the 8 and the 6 and be dangerous moving forward, it could just be interesting to see that wrinkle depending on where the ball is and to see them be able to rotate back and forth between the defensive mid and the dueling 8s.
2 things. Number 1, Radoja is not exactly a athlete. But second thing about switching Russell and Salloi.
Well, hold on now. Look at we'll just skip past that. What did you see that makes that?
He's not fast. I'm just saying he's not fast.
Okay.
He's not. He's not going to be.
Yeah. There's one
demon.
play he got the ball in the open field and was making a run.
Yeah.
And didn't seem like he was lighting the world on fire.
So athletic, probably not the proper word to use there.
Also,
okay,
his
but you
first
also like
fast a foot.
You also like made a
he's not
joke
fast
about
a foot.
The way you made that joke was that he's like a fat guy running around out there.
But
he's
the other
he is a
point, back to my
professional
other
athlete.
point was
Feeling triggered.
swapping the Russell and Salloi thing. Notice they never or very rarely do that with Shelton.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think they think Shelton's going to work very well with that left-handed triangle, left wing triangle. But.
Or any triangle.
Be nice.
No. I would get paid to be nice.
But do remember, it was our first watching of Radoja in a game. It was his first experience with the speed of MLS play. That may come into play of how fast he looked in some of that. He may not have been expecting to be.
It's all about mental
quick.
quickness anyway.
Janice replaced Kyrie, and after about 5 minutes, I was looking for another winger on the roster, and there was just no one else available. And that's what I mean. It just feels like at the moment we have no one to score goals. I don't see any creativity. Besides Eric Tommy, I don't see anyone that is breaking down the defense, that is going to make the moment happen. Like, of course, we'll fall into some of these, but it just feels like I have no confidence going forward right now.
Is that an issue with the players or the tactics?
The players on the field.
So it's their fault that nobody goes central. It's their fault that... So Marino Janice is a left winger, and he has played in the midfield and twice on the right. That's Janice's fault, that he's not better at playing right wing when he's a left winger?
That's roster depth fault.
Yeah, and I think that's what the point he's making, is that you would blame the team for that. But again, we're missing the guy at the top of that pecking order at the moment.
I mean, I think it's a combination of both tactics and who we have, right?
I just the front three that started and then bringing on Janice after that, anemic. None of those people seem like they are gonna bang in a bunch of goals to me right now. Salloi doesn't seem like he's ready for the season. I just have no confidence. I look at an organized defense. How are we gonna break that down right now?
On a positive side, speaking of defense, they've only given up 1 goal, and that was, 10 minutes into the first game?
Yeah, so they're like 260-something minutes without conceding straight now. And I thought that's what we were worried about.
That's what a lot of people were worried about.
What do we need this expensive new center back for? Robbie Voloder's killing it
That's
now.
a fine.
He had a bad pass during the match, but he has been much better since the first game.
He's had a bad pass every match.
Every single match he's had at least one
but
thing.
they have not impacted as heavily
But no,
as that first
he looked better last night.
And Postcamp, again, when called upon, made a nice save. 9th minute, his first one that he made, coming out and cutting out the angle.
But back to Robbie for a second. He has traditionally only played the left center back of a center back foursome, or a four person back
Four
line.
center back.
Well said.
That's a hell of a formation. Not goal dangerous.
Heavily defensive. But he's typically played the left of the 2 center backs, and there is a little bit of adaptation there, where right-footed center backs often kind of switch back and forth more often. So, which is why when we go back to when Fontes played the right of the 2 center backs, he looked terrible, and he looked much better as the left center back. Going back to our pod when we were at the radio station, even.
Good times.
So, guys, question. St. Louis City has 9 points after 3 games. They're in top of the conference.
Who are you, Taylor Twellman?
We're 7 points behind in this league of, evenness.
Parity.
It's not the Premier League.
Parity is the word.
Yes. Are we already out of the first place hunt? 3 games in?
No, that's an absurd thing to say.
I am asking you.
This is like the most ridiculous thing you've ever said.
I'm asking. I didn't make a statement. I asked. Okay.
Why is it a question, though? Why do you think
just
that's a
saying
question?
that people out there are saying that kind of stuff.
People are saying.
What people, and why are we giving them a megaphone for their really silly opinions?
Reddit is an ugly
just
place
throwing
at
it
the
out
moment.
there,
The
guys.
Sporting KC
See,
subreddit
it got you guys to perk up and defend your team. That's what I was going for.
So, for what it's worth, 538 still has us with a 70% chance of making the playoffs, and they have St. Louis with a 40% chance of making the playoffs. Yeah, well, nobody's going to be passing it backwards to their strikers in the box every goddamn game for 34
Didn't happen
games.
last
They
time.
can't keep that up.
No.
Yeah, I didn't see their goals last night, but I saw one. It looked like a deflection, so that it looked maybe a little bit lucky, but not as lucky as those first 2 where they just passed back to.
They're still getting lucky though.
So, David, you said you saw some defectors possible.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Get out of here.
It's just interesting. It's
Get them out of here.
You see it on Reddit, where and I don't want to call out one of our posters, but one of our posters who does not like traveling to Children's Mercy Park because it's not downtown, but wants to be able to take a train to a tram to go walk to St. Louis City, and thinks it's going to be a really interesting experience. But yeah, a lot of people are.
Yeah, don't call him out, David. Don't do that.
Yeah, and then he just did.
I didn't say names. I did not say names. I could be talking about anybody.
Yeah.
I could be talking about anybody. But yeah, no, you read Reddit and people are like, well, St. Louis is winning a lot of games. It might be time to become a St. Louis fan.
Oh, jeez.
Sometimes I can't. I think the people that are saying these things on Reddit are they're trying to say the most absurd thing that they can. There's no way some of these people are serious. Some of these statements.
Well,
There's no way they're true fans, is what you really mean.
Well, does everyone just want to be miserable? Is it wrong that I watch this team and have fun doing it?
I mean, I think that's the nature of the internet, is that it's generally speaking pretty negative.
And so you guys just heard me. I'm frustrated, but the joke now is there's 5 more years of this. I see that on Reddit all the time now. Anytime there's something bad happens, it's we have 5 more years of this. But I get people being mad, but in order to genuinely be mad and think the season's done and not like this team, you have to be ignoring very real things, like that all these players are missing and coming back, a new player's coming. that we had all of these shots, that there's reasons to like enjoy things that are happening, and there's reason to believe that they're not that terrible. So that's, I feel like people hear our show where we're normally very positive and they think we're just la-di-da or whatever. I don't even know what the hell we get accused of. But yeah, people who are that upset are ignoring very real things just so they can be upset right now.
Well, I do think, Vermes gets a lot of criticism from people, and some of it's very deserved, some of it's not. But, for years we hear the same people online complaining that like the tactics never change. It's always the same thing over and over and over. And the tactical evolution of this team over the last 10 years, I mean, it's night and day different between the tactics we ran out in 2013 when we won MLS Cup and what we play now. Night and day different. Last year, we gave up 1 billion goals. This year, we come out with a new tactical wrinkle. We're trying to play a 4-4-2. It's got mixed results, so we adapt to a 4-5-1. So the idea that Vermes doesn't change things, I think, is misguided. Now, there's still certain trends that we see, and there's certain things like my frustration is with the training staff, the medical staff, that we seemingly have more, and Thad's mentioned this before, that maybe we're just more open and honest about it, but for Felipe Gutierrez and Gotti and Alan Pulido to all suffer the same kind of injury when it doesn't seem like that's happening to other teams is frustrating, right? To constantly lose your best players to these like debilitating cartilage injuries or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And Jimmy Madronda.
Yeah,
and Jimmy Madronda. But the tactics do evolve and they do change. And so last year, after giving up a ton of goals, this year we've given up 1. We'll certainly give up more, but if we're more defensively stout, it shows that Peter recognized that was a problem last year and wants to be more defensively solid this year. A few years ago, we couldn't score any goals. So we went out and we got Gerso, and then we got Johnny, and then we got Pulido, and we set a record for the number of goals we scored in a season. So the idea that we don't adapt, I think, is incorrect. I think there's also just general fatigue with the club as a whole, though. It's no longer kind of like the shiny new toy. That's the current now, right? The current are the shiny new thing. They made the championship game. They're getting a new stadium. They're the new hot thing in town, right? But I think there is legitimate criticism for the club itself with what the match day looks like, because it doesn't change, It's the same general video package, the same general music, the same general vibe. The I Believe chant.
Cauldron does the same. That's not on the team, though.
The I Believe chant is, and that needs to go. It's stale. Not adapting and evolving.
I think that's on the Cauldron.
I think that's on the Cauldron leadership. And everyone go back and listen to our State of the Cauldron podcast that we did earlier.
Well, but it's who pays Hartzell?
Well, Hartzell's not the Cauldron.
No, but Hartzell's the one who leads the I Believe chant.
Did they get a woman to do this with him last night? It seemed like there was a girl doing all the announcing every time he was doing it. Is there like a duo now in the stadium?
I paid no attention. Sorry.
Well, anyway, on that note, we did complain enough about the team, but it was good to be back in the stadium last night. The home opener was back. What did everyone think? What was your experience like? David, Robert, you were in the cold. It was slow.
It was slow. It took forever to get inside. Big traffic jam at the gates. Food was slow. But it was nice to be back, even in the cold.
I did stroll past quite a long line to go to the media gate. See me flexing my perk there for you? No, that looked bad. Impressive. So I don't understand. What was different about last time? They have 18,000 people at games all the time. Why was last night any different? It did look like people were trickling in very late.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I think last year they would just have you pull out your phone and just walk through the metal detector. In this area, you had to put it in a thing and do whatever.
Oh.
But I honestly don't know, because once I finally got up to security, it went really. I got my family through really quick, but it just took forever to get to the gate.
Thad, you were back in the photographer row. Good to be back in your corner.
Yeah, it was good.
Did you ask Mrs. Thad what her thoughts and feelings were on the process last night?
She didn't have any problem. She didn't complain about it. I know I talked to a lot of people who did, but my wife got in pretty easily from what she said. So she said that she saw your family going up and down the stairs every few minutes with a different boy.
Yeah, my kids needed multiple bathroom breaks.
So she was kind of laughing about that, but
I'm glad somebody was.
I got to sit behind the glass in the press box. That was nice and warm.
I was not.
Cody, were you in the press box last night?
I was in the press box last night. I got the number 3 spot.
Would you mind telling the listeners what the significance of that is?
Well, I don't know. If Patrick could tell me that, I don't, because Paul Carr got the number 1 spot. So that's like, there's some sort of hierarchy there, right?
Sure.
The national guy gets the number 1 spot.
You go ahead and think that.
And
sure.
then, well, come on. It's like, clearly there's something there. A national reporter, and then the Kansas City Star. And then it was the long staple of Kansas City soccer reporting, Cody Bradley. And I don't understand how they come up with this order. As long as I was in front of Chad though, so I'm happy.
No, you're right. They do typically go with like the bigger name reporters starting from, one side across, and that's, if the closer you are to that corner, that's
maybe it's just on either side, because then you don't have to walk behind people. So maybe on the other side is also a coveted spot because it's on the edge.
A lot of times they would ask who's going to do the recap, and I would tell them, and they would make sure that they got an inside seat. But I think that we just have so many people there now compared to anybody else.
Was Juan in there last night? No, he wasn't.
He was in the cauldron.
That's right.
Because it was you, Chad, and Jimmy Mack.
Kurt Austin yelled at us in a joking manner, but on the shot that Roger took that went a million feet in the air, everyone was just kind of laughing. Everyone laughed at it. No, another Roger shot like that. But when it finally, 15 seconds later, landed in the keeper's hands, Kurt was like, all right, now that's a shot on goal. Let's show some decorum here, people. and then Sperry getting yelled at by Vermes in the press conference after. That was good.
That was funny.
Oh.
Go ahead and explain.
Somebody asked a question that we had all talked about that we were going to ask in the press box, that this was going to come up. And Chad asked it, and then Sperry was not listening. He was writing his tweet, or
Patsy.
He was doing whatever he was doing, and then asked the same question. And Vermes doesn't play with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you'd have been listening or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, I guess you only want to listen to your own questions, then, huh?
Because it was about Radoja coming in as the 8 and not the 6.
Right.
And that was an obvious question to ask. If nobody asked it, I was going to ask it.
That is the best part of going to press conferences is Vermes' clapbacks, and when he's exasperated. But no, he was feeling good. He's confident about the team. He liked what he saw last night.
But at least nobody was asking about subs.
Yeah, and I am too. I'm confident. I'm frustrated, but I can use my eyes. I saw what I saw on the field. There's a lot of reason to think that they're going to improve. We have new players coming. We have old players returning.
And who did we not see last night, guys? Duke and Hernandez.
Yeah.
Could be a signal of the future as far as the midfield goes, maybe. I don't know.
Well, we did talk about them last week, if they had found their ceilings.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear the strongest midfield of people that's healthy at this point will be Nemanja when he's fit enough to start at the 6, Walter, and
that's a
Tommy. Yeah, piss off. That's the strongest 3 in the midfield right now. Felipe is not far off of that. Roger, and he's a strong part of that midfield. But we all say we don't really want to see him playing every game. Even Peter
Vermes
has said that.
Yes, Vermes said those words last night. Just for anyone who's frustrated by Roger starting, Vermes laughably said, "I don't want to be starting Roger every game."
He's just the best option that Peter sees at this moment to get results, and I understand that. I don't always agree with that, but I do understand that.
And I'm going to take this time just to mention Graham Zusi. The man is a very good soccer player. I'm just going to say that.
I love Graham Zusi. No notes. What do you think of that, David?
I'm watching highlights from other games.
Thank you for your participation in our show.
I refuse to allow you two to troll me.
Whatever. I like Graham.
No,
He's
trolled
doing
you.
his
You
job
just
in
didn't
the
respond.
corner. He's still pinging those long balls across the field.
Puts in a good cross.
Still not the fastest in the world.
I will say, Zusi was open a lot last night and was calling for long switches, and we were missing him. But there was a lot of play on the left side that we could have easily switched to the right to shift the defense and maybe make something happen, and that Zeus was notably frustrated for large parts of the game.
All right, what do we got next week?
FC Dallas.
It is away at Dallas.
Yes,
correct?
it is.
Okay.
Not an easy match.
Road trip.
Shades of Blue road trip.
Well, I think we'll probably have one across state coming up.
Yes, the St. Louis. Are all of you guys going to make that trip?
Absolutely not.
I'm going there.
I'm not spending a dime in St. Louis.
I'm not going with you guys, though. I got friends, though. that
I'm not spending a dime in St. Louis.
I'm not going to do any journalism there. I'm
Gonna
going to
go
be
get
a
some
Kansas City
raviolis?
Ultra.
Square cut pizza.
No. I will never attend an away match at St. Louis. I'll go to any other I'll go to any other stadium in the league. I'll go to any
I'm going to
USL.
Austin later. You want to go with me?
Let's go to Hartford Athletic. I'll go watch Jimmy Nielsen's old team. But I will not go to St. Louis. I will not spend a dime there.
Sporting.
The other side don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.